because I'm like, I'm gonna do everything. I don't like, I'll be up till midnight to do it. And the third thing is like, I'm gonna be the fastest growing track, thing, right now. And so that's what I've been doing. And so it's like, I look at other accounts and I'm like, I'm better than you.
Nice.
Like, and so I'm gonna, it's like, so I gotta do more than you because I know I'm better than you.
This really confirmed that I can't be like a journalist, like the hard aspect of a journalist. Like it's just too uncomfortable to be like, I must get this content or else.
Your perspective may be the most interesting perspective someone has ever seen. And if that's able to connect in someone and hit somebody's home, like, you should be proud of that. Where'd you feel like you were last year?
Trying to get somewhere, trying to get to this. Feel me? Just trying to come up. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
is it everything you thought it was?
For sure.
All right, dang, it's weird to intro this without Aaron here, bro. Like, I don't know what to say.
We miss you, Aaron. Get well soon.
For real.
Aaron gotta get it. Well,
I'm Joshua Potts, Mr. Pottsable, usually joined with the brother with the same mother, Aaron Potts, Super Hot Potts, but I'm joined with 3 black runners on the podcast right here, making it 4 for the entire thing. Colin Waitsman of Track World News, Tierra Williams of Real Talk. We got Anderson Imorle. Emerald, bro. I messed it up. Emerald, Anderson Emerald of the final leg, track and field, Black History, and we had world champs. I feel like I feel like I'm not that as hyped, but I'm hyped, y'all. I'm hyped. It's just that, bro. We've been here. This is my 10th day here at the World Championships. T, what you been? This is your 11th day.
Yeah.
World Championships.
Yeah,
Anderson, this is your 11th,
10th day, something like that.
11th day. You don't have the fatigue that we have.
Day 4, so I'm still cool, man. I'm still cool.
But it's been a heck of experience being here. I kind of just wanted to, Aaron and we wanted to have a conversation with all of y'all being here. But first off, it's our first time meeting Colin in person, so it's cool and everything. And we've been doing these discussions since we've been to the first time T was on it, and we had Matt on it as well with us. But I think it's always cool just to gather up after the end of these meets because, I don't know, bro, it's such a for me at least, going back to 2019 when I just started, not 2019, 2017, when I first started doing like YouTube and everything and doing vlogs, I never imagined being at, like, it would lead to the World Championships. So like, I think it's always great to have like these conversations to kind of just reflect in the moment of like the things that we are really doing right now. Like, and I think it's really cool too, because like, for us, we're really the change makers that are in the sport. When people like talk to us, I was talking to one of the people that's like one of the commentators in track and field now, and he's asking us questions like, how are we going to fix the Devin Allen like false start and stuff? But he was like, he wasn't saying like, how are we going to fix it? Asking like him, he was saying like, how are you guys going to fix it? You know? And I think that definitely is true. Like, it's going to be our generation that doesn't, I don't know if the sport needs a whole lot of fixing. We could get in that too, but it's like, we're going to be the change makers in the sports going forward. So I'm glad, Colin, you're here to like just join us. I don't really have a question to lead to that, but I just had to. That's how I just want to intro the podcast and what we're really talking about from the World Championships, bro.
Yeah, it's been a dope experience. Yeah, we did the episode last night. That was a lot of fun. Nice to meet you guys. Well, I met you in New York.
Right?
Oh, this is your first time meeting T too?
Yeah, first time.
I'm glad you're not a catfish.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun being here. It's first time in Eugene. I've been liking it a lot, and so I think there's so much that we have to offer. I think like it's like hard to kind of like just pick a spot of because I feel there's a lot of areas track and field can improve.
Yeah,
and I think all of just us 4 here have so many ideas we could do to improve that, and so it's kind of like, all right, where do you begin? Where do you start? Because it's like you want to get things done, and so I feel we can definitely be the change, and hopefully by the time the generation below us is having a conversation like this, it's improved.
Yeah, but before we go to y'all two, because Colin, you came as just you're a fan. You're not in the media.
No credential.
No credential.
Like
you got no lanyard up this time. But how is it for you? Like, you've been able to experience all of it, like in the stands, being with the people for the past 4 days. We still got the 4x4s, the women's 800, the men's 5,000, men's pole vault, all that still to come tonight. Even the women's long jump before we're recording this, the women's hurdles too. But you experienced some pretty amazing performances in the stands, these two, and we've been in the mix zone going back and forth. But just how's it been from a fan experience, like experiencing the sport?
Yeah, so from the fan perspective, it's pretty good. That's something that I think track and field, or at least the World Championships, have been doing really well with. It's easy to get in. Like it's not like a long line. It's not difficult like that. They have music going on in the stadium, which makes it so, because, you know, with track and field, there can be a lot of downtime where, you know, you're waiting for the next heat, you're waiting for the next thing to go on. So they have music going on the entire time, which is really good. Just the arena here itself, the stadium, it's like, it's really spread out. So you're not waiting too long for bathroom rides or whatever. And the crowd is also like a character in its own. I know we talked about it a little bit, but the thing that I like a lot is that, like, we got fans cheering. You know, we were talking a lot about the Ethiopian fans yesterday. I mean, for their cause and everything going off. And, you know, it sounded like we were at a European soccer game. Like, they were just like cheering so much, and everyone was like, where's this sound coming from? And so it's just like, it's been a great experience as a fan. I'm not sure exactly what it's like for y'all, but it definitely is like an enjoyable product. And, you know, I left after, you know, each day saying, okay, I had a lot of fun. You know, like, it was a good time.
Are you guys leaving that same way from the mix zone, having a lot of fun, experiencing the same things he experienced?
Sounds different.
No comment. No comment. Nah, I mean, should I go first?
Because you've been doing a lot, T. You've been
T has been on it.
Like, low key, T's been. I was telling T earlier
Everywhere.
this week. Like, T, you are like the social media face of the World Championships in a way. Like, you're covering the World Championships, Oregon 22, Instagram, on the stories every single day. You were meeting there with Travis Scott, met Travis Scott in the video with that reel. And then for the past 3 days, you've been on Hayward Magic's Instagram stories. So especially, but just the World Championships, like, you're low key, like, it's Legend. Because Legend's been crazy.
Legend.
It's Legend, and then it's T, like, for the face of, like, the World Championships in my eyes. So, like, how is the experience? Have you been feeling like that same, like, fan? It's chill. This is the greatest thing in the mix zone, and
totally different. Yeah. Totally different experience. But first, I just want to say, like, I'm blessed. Yeah. Like, this whole experience has been nothing but a blessing. Like, I didn't even believe in myself that I'll be able to bring the same energy for 10 days straight. So I just want to thank God just for blessing me with this ability and this talent. But totally different experience. Like, the mix zone madness. That's what I'm going to call it. The mix zone be nothing but madness. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't really get to experience the fan experience. Like, I don't get to hear the crowd unless I make the extra effort to run up the stairs and find a space to squat. Like,
and it's far away.
It's far. It's
compared to like Pre and USA's.
You know what I'm saying? So it's real difficult to really, like, get to see it in my own eyes unless we make the effort. But it's been cool down there. A little madness, you know, a little up and down. But shout out to my mix zone bestie right here. He been holding me down. He been holding me down, bro.
Listen,
I be having my moments.
I
be having my moments, bro.
Nah, but it's like, yeah, exactly like T said, right? We don't get to experience it as like a fan. And I'd been to Beijing 2015 as just a fan. So like I saw the fan experience, and now here it's so different. And like I'm just thinking of I think it was Friday where we had the 400s, we had the men's 400, women's 400 hurdles. Yeah. And it was like, I wanted to see every single race, but I also wanted to talk to a couple athletes. So kind of going back up and down, it's like, you know, the experience it's interesting in the mix zone. It's very interesting. And, you know, being able to balance that it's a challenge for sure.
Do you envy that experience a little bit, Colin, since you are in the media a little? You're in the media, but like you're in the fans, and then but like you probably, I bet you would love to talk to some of the athletes in the mix zone, but then we got to miss out on like some of the races. Like, is there like conflict in that?
Yeah, so that's like one of the toughest things, right? Because like from a media perspective, I'm like, dang, like I wish I could ask this athlete these questions. So I sent to you like one of the questions. I was like, man, make sure you ask this person this question, because I'm like, man, I would love to get some insight, and I know like from a media perspective like how much that can, you know, help your channel. And so it's like, man, I really wish I could, you know, be talking to these athletes. And it's also cool to build the relationships and to know like hey, these are some athletes like I've done an interview on Zoom with many of these people, and I haven't been able to, you know, interview, like see you live and in person. And so I'd like to be able to do that. But I also am like, I would like to see these track meet because I am still like a fan. And so it's like, it's been nice because each one of the days it's been, okay, I've seen a world record, an American record, We're seeing crazy races in the 4x1s. Like so it's like, yeah, I've missed the I would have loved to be able to interview these people, but I also like the fact that I can say I saw a world record in person. Like being able to say that. It's like there's goods, there's bads, there's things you got to work on, but I've liked my experience as a fan. It's so I look forward to doing this as a media person in the future.
Right.
It's like so, but I'm definitely glad that I had this one this time.
Yeah, be able to experience like the whole thing, get your popcorn every single day or any type of food. like it definitely is nice. I would say for me, like I definitely had those experiences where like, man, I wish I could be up there, but I have to run back down. I feel like me and Aaron, we ran back up and down like quite a bit. To be honest, but like I feel like we just on a different assignment with having to do the podcast and everything like that. So like we couldn't stay every single, like I just know I'm not gonna be able to stay to the end. So like I'm just gonna stay up here and watch these races before I'm ready to do the podcast too. But Colin was talking about relationships, just being able to talk to people. And I gotta say, T does a really good job of this. But then Anderson, I feel like Anderson be talking to everybody, bro. Like this man, like not even on the camera. Yeah, that's what it seems like. He just be talking up to every single person like in the mix zone. So I just gotta give you your flowers on that. Like
he knows everything about him too. Be like, oh man, like I heard about your dog. Like you got a birthday. Like, yo, what?
And that was the thing that we were talking about when I think we were at Prefontaine with T and Matt. Just the fact of like sometimes like we don't really want to particularly like interview the person, but just like really just talk to the person and just talk about their event and stuff like that. That's what kind of sucked, because for me, I was like, dang, I want to stay up here and watch these races and like and I was like, but I want to go down and talk to Elise Cranny about this 5K, because like I've interviewed Elise so many times from the Sound Running meets and everything like that, but then I just had to go and do some other thing. I was like, dang. So but you've been doing great, killing that.
Nah, definitely. I mean, I think that has been the biggest thing, like just developing relationships, like recognizing these athletes. And one thing I like to do is, highlight a couple athletes from who aren't like well known and stuff like that. So who maybe haven't gotten as much recognition, but I've been following their careers. So coming here and seeing them do well, perform, well, either do well or even maybe they didn't do well, but being able to have conversations with them, talk to them, in their good and bad times, that really, they appreciate it, right? Because, everyone is going to want to talk to those top athletes and those, top performers. But then those ones who maybe don't get as much recognition, they are walking through kind of slow, maybe waiting for someone to talk to them. And even if it's just a regular conversation, just like, how you feeling? What'd you think of the meet? Blah, blah, blah. Like little things like that. It could like really make them feel good. So yeah, I've been trying to do a little bit of that.
Before we move on, can I give Anston his flowers too? Because honestly, bro, you really helped me hold it together. Like, I had some like testing times in that mix zone. Like, and I just being the only black woman, like just you being on my side, bro. And I could just like Anston, like bug you, bro. Like it really helped me. So I just want to say thank you.
No,
thank you.
huge thank you to you. Because again, like your energy keeps me going down there, keeps me going. And I think a lot of the athletes really recognize it. They recognize us being down there. They see they see us, they see us as black media down there, and they really appreciate it. So, you've been killing it.
Mix zone besties for life.
Absolutely.
But T, I feel like the energy that you bring to the mix zone has really changed like the entire experience of the interviews that we're seeing and things that are going viral from the World Championships. Because I feel like before like World Championships or Olympics, the only thing that was really going viral was all like, oh, someone talking about the race, or someone just like, or like someone like Shericka Jackson like walking off from the interview like that. But the things that are going viral now is getting Sydney McLaughlin to do the Millie Rock and everything, like to get Abby Steiner to do her little dance like that. Those are the things that are like going viral, and that's the change that you've been making to have like that real fun thing. Is that the intention that you wanted to bring to the World Championships?
Definitely, 100%, and like. Just shout out to the athletes for just accepting it and stepping out that comfort zone. Because, like, you feel me? Me saying, like, oh, like, do a dance. They like, girl, you know what I'm saying? But, like, they accept it. And they, you feel me? Like, Cindy was like, girl, you put me on the spot. It's like, I didn't think she was going to do it. But then she was like, feel me? So, like, I don't know. Like, that's definitely what I wanted to bring, like, 100%.
Yeah, it's been special, like, really to see. And I feel like it definitely changing the atmosphere of the room, because even when like me and Aaron, we did like the Hayward Magic thing, I feel like it's weird because people are doing like their serious interviews in there and stuff, and like talking how you feel and everything like that. But then I don't know, it definitely lines up the mood when you just have somebody like doing like what's his name, Guillermo, like when he does the NBA finals, when he just goes around the people. And I'm not saying
Guillermo.
My bad, bro. I've been here for 10 days. Bro.
Our brain isn't even working no more.
You know, but like having that little just like fun to like a serious like situation definitely like lightens up the mood, and I think that is the change that track and field is definitely seeing for the better going forward. Like just having the fact of having Legend on there, and like during the 5K, like Legend's like holding well, it's really the 10K. When he was during the 10K final, he was holding up like signs
in
like,
the tower.
Yeah, like in the tower, he was holding up like signs every single lap, and like saying like different things, and it kept people like engaged. Like Demetria she was all like, "This is the first 10K I ever watched fully because of Legend." Like, and it was a good race too. But like he definitely kept people engaged. Like those new types of things that World Championships has been doing, like you've been mentioning, has really changed things. Even like their meme page, bro. Like they've
been on point.
They've been turning.
They've been killing it for sure. But I also want to talk about just going through the meet. A lot of amazing performances. I don't want to talk about the performances too much, but what was the thing that let's go here instead of saying what was the most exciting thing or who was the most dominant. Like, what performance like inspired you the most, Colin?
Yeah, I'd have to say, and not just because of bias, but definitely Trevor Bassett. Just the story that he's had this entire year of like you're a Division II athlete, so people are automatically gonna like label you as not as talented, you know, even though we know that's not the case. So he's a Division II athlete, multiple time national champion. His coach unfortunately passes away. Then his other coach leaves to go to California. He's writing his own training plans as an athlete, and then he's able to go into indoor worlds. He wins indoor USAs. He wins the indoor world title, and then he comes outdoors, and then he wins or he comes in second at USAs, and then comes in third in the world championships against the world record holder. Like that type of stuff is what I'm like, dang, that was an inspiring story. Just the entire journey. I mean, that could be a ESPN 30 for 30 just on his year. And so it's like definitely what he was able to do, going through all that adversity in times, you know, and still coming out with a bronze medal, you know, against one of the most talented fields of the championship. Like that was impactful for me.
Well, for you, Anderson, who inspired you the most, or what inspired you the most? Who or what?
For me, it might be Tori Franklin getting that bronze medal in the women's triple jump. So it's very similar. Like she was telling me how she left, or her coach dropped her, I think, before the Olympics. And then earlier this year, she was working with a new coach and she switched coaches. It wasn't working out. She moved to Greece, like all the way across to Europe to train just in April this year. And she just trusted her coach, trusted her training, and she got the first triple jump medal in the history of, you know, the United States at World Championships or Olympics. So just her story getting here, getting onto that podium is an amazing story that was like super, super inspiring. And even like she was talking about like her look, like she had done her face and her hair and everything, and like how each of those things that she did really kind of motivated her and meant something to the competition. So yeah, that was super amazing.
And I think it's really big with Tori Franklin, like in getting that first medal. I think it will have like a ripple effect, and we'll see more and more medals for the U.S. women's triple jump. But like I think it's going to bring more attention to that event too, because I feel like even with Tori Franklin doing that, there still wasn't like, unfortunately, there still wasn't a whole lot of coverage that she was the first woman to do that in the triple jump. But I think the more and more she starts jumping better, and Katura starts jumping better, and Jasmine starts jumping better, like they're going to get that coverage that they really deserve in that women's triple jump. Because just like how the men be killing it, like these women, they're going to be killing it too, bro. They're going to be killing it onto that level. Like it's going to be exciting. But for UT, who's had the most inspiring performance for you, or what was most inspiring to you from the week?
I'm going to have to say Anna Hall. You know, I'm a multi-girl, first of all. And then second of all, she's the first woman to get a medal since 2001. Like the first woman to get a medal in the HEPs in 2001. So like that's just inspiring all along, because she had a long season, like very long season. And just for her to come out and like compete, get PRs and take the American record and score a medal, like that's just inspiring.
Yeah, Anna Hall, she's definitely the future. And the person for me, I think it's Michael Norman. Being somebody I'm from the Inland Empire. I got to see Michael Norman run when I was in high school, and for him to finally get that medal. And I think the best thing about it is that it wasn't a fast race. You know, just for him to just be able to muscle out Karani James. Like I was like, bro, Karani's about to beat him. I'm like, no, dude, like please, bro. But for him to finally get that medal, that's big, bro. That's really big. And I was talking about this to Aaron the other day, and I want to get your opinion on it. I really feel like, I've talked about this before, but like going into 2028, I feel like we're in the midst of the golden age of track and field, especially for the U.S. And I think the U.S. men have definitely proven that this year. There's so many stars from Grant Holloway, Michael Norman, and then even Grant Fisher in this. We're gonna see in this what he does in this 5K tonight. Even if he doesn't medal, like this dude, he's America's wonder boy for the distance for sure. But like there's so many. We're entering that golden age for the U.S. And I feel like, after 2016, we had the 3 high school stars that were with Vashti as well, but Sydney McLaughlin, Noah Lyles, and Michael Norman were probably the most talked about high schools at the 2016 Olympics. And now, with them all getting gold medals here at the World Championships, I feel like that really confirms to me that, like, we have people that we can really get behind, and they can be our stars going forward. Like, I think those 3 and the other ones that we have, even with Grant Holloway, that weren't at the 2016 Olympics, like, they can push us forward. And I think track is in a good spot because of that.
Yeah, I was actually making a post on, okay, why is the class of 2016 high school class the best that we've ever seen in the U.S.? I was like, wait a minute. 2017 had Sydney McLaughlin. I was like, all right, okay, I'll add them. It's like, oh, wait a minute. 2018. They have Abby Steiner. I'm like, oh man, wait a minute. Is really, like, which one's so great? Like, this 2016, 17, 18, just like all of them are now coming into their own, because they're, and they're like going into their prime of like 22, 23, 24 years old. And so it's like we just have a great crop of athletes just in the U.S. right now, like across all, the events that can really dominate. And I was like, man, wait a minute. We really do have a lot of people that are just about to start coming into their own.
But then how do we maximize that? Because we're the media. Like, they really don't have to do nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just got to go out there and perform. Performances will speak for themselves, because we obviously can see, like, Sydney can do her thing around 50 seconds. Like, SportsCenter is going to post it, but are they going to talk about it next week?
No.
Like, how are we going to maximize that? I don't know if you want to put out your whole game plan, you feel me? But, like, just in general, like, how do we maximize that, Anderson?
I mean, I think it really goes back to the storytelling, right? Like, this is the World Championships, but, a lot of things happen between now and the next World Championships, right? Whether that is different competitions, whether that is, other things that they're doing, like highlighting, the things that they're doing, highlighting their stories, their journey that it takes for them to get to, the great performances and the gold medals that they're winning. I think that's super important. So by the time, they get to the next World Championships, the next Olympics, we know a little bit about them. We know a little bit more about them. I think that's like super important. That's super important.
And just like stories through podcasts, through video, writing, or all forms of medium, or you think like one's like the way to go?
I think all forms, right? Because everyone has like different ways of telling stories, whether that is through writing, whether that is through podcasts, whether that's through video or, interviews or whatever it may be. I think all forms of media, just to be able to highlight these athletes. Because also I think between all of us, there's like demographics of people who may follow, one page but not another, right? So being able to tell those stories to different people is super, super important.
How do you think the media is going to maximize this, T?
I agree with the storytelling, but it's just so funny because, like, I hear from, like, Allison Felix's agent, and I hear from, like, Shelly Ann's publicist, like, they don't feel like their story is even being told the right way. So it's all about...
Wait, you said Shelly Ann Fraser-Price?
Name drop.
Allison Felix?
Name drop.
No, I'm just saying, like,
like
those big names don't feel like their stories.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yes.
It's all about how you tell them. Like, my thing is, like, yeah, NBC can give them an interview, but it's not to what they want. You know what I'm saying? So it's about storytelling, but it's also how you tell the story. Feel me? Yeah. That's like my little intake.
How you gonna tell it?
Real talk. What you mean? Like, I don't know. Like, how I always tell it. I don't know. I think the way I tell stories is like good. Like, I don't know any other way. Like, get to the bottom of it. Like, start from the beginning with their childhood. Like, just follow through their whole career from childhood to high school to college to pro. Like, feel me? Get a couple questions in for each segment of their life. Like, that's how I go about it. And I just feel like it doesn't leave out any phases of their life. I feel like sometimes when they tell their stories, it's just like pro. Like they weren't pro all their life. Like from a kid, like what were their first dreams? Like before they became a track athlete. Like I just feel like sometimes we base it around track, which is, you know, the sport, but like let's get into their life a little outside of track, but also reflect it back to track, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that a lot, because like everyone, it's tough because like when you're interviewing, like as whether it's track, it could be baseball, it doesn't matter. They're gonna ask about questions on that. Like it's like I'm sure when you're in the mix zone, every single you could just copy and paste these questions. These athletes have been answering the same question for their entire life. It's like, how was the race? Yeah, it was great. You know, I went through, you know, but what I see, especially what you guys be asking questions on, is like the, you know, tell me about, you know, what was the most difficult part about like your season that maybe the fans don't know about? You know, like what's something that, you know, you wish that people would know about you? Like trying to get to the, you know, the bottom of stuff, because it's like, yeah, track and field may be what I do, but I do so much more. I mean, I don't know if y'all are familiar, but I really like Nardwar. I don't know if he's he'd be asking crazy questions. Like it'd be like, yeah, like I know your friend Susie Lee from middle school. Like how is she, like how do you know about this person? So like that's what I try to figure out. I'm like, all right, I go through all of your tweets, I go through all your stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna find something. I'm gonna ask you in this interview. You're gonna be like, how the heck you know about that? But I'm gonna do my darndest to do it, because it's like, everybody asks these same questions. So how can I be different and ask like slightly different things that people don't know about?
Like literally at the end of the mix zone is where we are. So like it's broadcast. They go through all of that. Then it's broadcasting rights, written press. Then they get to us who don't have non-right holders. Every time they come through, like they're like, just like I just said before. Yeah, exactly. Like I just said this earlier. Like not to me, but like just to other like reporters. Like this is what I just said before. Or like. Just as I said earlier, like it's literally the same thing. Like that's a problem.
Yeah. I've been asking a lot about the people who helped the athletes, like their support system, and that like gets them to dive into the aspects of like, yo, what are all the things that we don't see, right? Who are the people who are helping you get there? And that's like really allowed them to, you know, kind of give appreciation to, you know, if they had a bad performance, it gives them the chance to like appreciate how they got here and stuff like that. And it's a little bit different from, you know, like how was the race? Like, what did you feel when you were coming off the turn? It's like, all right.
Same thing I feel every time.
Literally. I feel like that's definitely where me and Aaron feel, definitely being in the mix zone. It's just to the fact of like, you know, especially when like everybody like bundles up and like doing like one interview, I'm all like, bro, like we all doing, like how are we all gonna do the same interview? But I understand, because like they've been walking so much and through the thing, but I'm all like, I don't want the same thing as these people, that person, and him. Like, you know, like I want it to be different in a way, you know. And sometimes it's just hard to get at those times, or you just gotta be like T be doing that. She be getting the corners, but and just getting that fast and like quick content. And it's definitely it's hard down there, but figuring out how to really work it and how you can create content from the World Championships. I think what I've been telling people is like, I really just like the challenge, like overall. Even just the fact of the endurance to stay here for 10 days, bro. It's a challenge, bro. This is a sport.
The mix zone to be draining. It's an energy drainer down there. Like, and I just want to talk about this one situation that kind of like put me over the top in the mix zone with Shericka Jackson. Like she just won a 200. She ran 21.45. Yeah. She comes through. I wasn't in my little spot. I had something else going on, so I tried to catch her at the end, right? By the time I catch her, they all, you know, they first of all, they act like paparazzis down there. They don't act like they're like paparazzis. Yep, they crowd you, they pushing you everything. Like COVID is just not a thing. First of all. So then anyway, so gets to my point. She walks through, they stop her right there. I'm not gonna mention no names or the question, but they said something that pissed her off. So she walks off from the interview, walks to me, and I'm like, can I get a second? And she's like, come on. And she's like, yo, they just pissed me off. Ripped her bib thing off and was just like, why would you even ask me that? That like rubbed me the wrong, especially being a black woman, because it's just like, what's the respect? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you come to me, I couldn't even get my fun content because you just pissed her off. She's happy she got a gold medal. Yeah. She just ran 21.45. She should be able to celebrate and enjoy her moment, but like they killed her moment, and it's just stuff like that. Like, and they think it's cool. Like I went on Twitter just to see, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I shared how I felt, share my video, and they're like, shout out to him for asking that question. No, that was stupid. That wasn't a good question. Like. What do you mean?
There's a time and a place for everything, and that was not the time nor the place for anything like that. Like you want to this should be a celebration time of like this. Someone that just won a gold medal, dropped one of the fastest times ever, is now the fastest woman in
alive.
Yes, exactly. So it's like that should be what we should be celebrating. And now, if especially you early on, you killing the vibe for everybody else.
For everyone, exactly. It's crazy. It's really crazy, and I think that's where, at least for me in my experience, like understanding the content you want to create and like. So there's a lot of people there who are like working for, I don't know, newspapers or like organizations, and they might be coming there like this organization is saying, you must get Elaine Thompson, you must get Shelley Ann Fraser Price, or else like, I don't know, whatever happens, right? Like that's your job. This has got me to think about like, I want to make sure that I'm creating my own content. So I don't have to push through people to get one athlete because I just don't want to do that. I don't want to put an athlete in an uncomfortable position. If they want to walk through, that's perfectly fine. I want them to feel comfortable walking through, and then I'll get some other pieces of content, right? I don't want to feel that pressure and make athletes feel uncomfortable. There's no reason to do that.
You said something right there.
Quick question for y'all, kind of building off that. What has been a difficulty, if there has been, with maintaining relationships with athletes, but still properly, going over content and asking questions? Because like I'm sure all of us, like you have athletes that you're friendly with, maybe even be friends with, but then you may not perform, and you still, while you do want to be professional, still cover the content, you also want to maintain the relationship, because it's like, hey, this is a friend of mine. I don't want to, like, have you guys had any difficulties with that, whether it be here at the World Championships or just in general?
I think for us the biggest difficulty is just like, for one, I think in the mix zone, I think we've realized too, like we don't have to do every single interview. I just think for like our branding standpoint, like we don't have to get every single person. So like that's not, I think we're starting to realize that more and more, like that's not our goal. But just like if somebody does run bad and like that's like the homie, I think just like kind of reading how they are, and kind of like sometimes it just starts with us talking to them, and then they're all like, oh, you're gonna interview us, and like, okay, we'll do it, you know what I mean? But like kind of just like reading the room, bro, like reading people, like most definitely. Like if somebody's not gonna talk, like they're not gonna talk. But that would be for me. About for you guys?
I'm gonna just say I just hug them. I hug them, like, but I'm not gonna lie, like I struggle with getting having those difficult conversations on camera, just because like I'm not comfortable with that yet. So like I don't want to do it and like push myself, because it's like, for example, Nia Ali and Alasia walked through the media mix zone, and all I did was just hug them and just be like, you gotta let God work sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And then that was it. So like I haven't got that down yet, having those uncomfortable conversations, but I do just show them love regardless, and just hug them and just let them know that I'm there and that I'm proud of them and I support them no matter what they just did on the track. That's how I handle it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very similar. Like a lot of times I won't even interview them. I'll just like, they're walking through, I'll just be like, good job. Or I think I remember like Daniel Roberts, after he hit the hurdle, like, I just told him like, yo, keep your head up. Like you got a long way to go and things like that. You don't always got to get an interview, but even for like, at least for me, the athletes who also do good, I always ask them, like, you down for an interview? Like, I never just put my camera in their face. Like, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Because even if they do well, just like Shericka Jackson, right? Maybe she's not comfortable just getting an interview like that at first. I want to make sure, you down to talk for a second, whatever, and then, we go into a conversation.
But then going back to that Shericka Jackson thing, we were talking about, like, asking that question about, like, that world record or whatever, like, doing that. I just feel like, too, like, with this perspective, like, that's, like, those people are like journalists per se, like how you were saying earlier, Anderson, like they have a job certain to do, and I think they see themselves as like journalists, asking like that journalistic question at that time to try and get like deep into like what that is, you know what I mean? I still feel like I don't think that question is even like I don't know. I think
it was like a TMZ type.
Who knows?
That question is still, I don't know. That question is just dumb. Like how Shericka said, like it's the world record. Like I'm gonna try and get it. Like, I can't really change anything about it. But I think. Well, the thing that I've been thinking about, too, is just the fact of, like, because there are journalists down there. There's people that are, like, journalists and doing their thing. Like, I don't really see myself as a journalist, or I don't feel, even though I am a journalism degree, like, I don't really feel like I am a journalist, per se. Do you guys feel like you're a journalist in any type of way, or?
it's weird because like I came into starting this as like I just want to talk about track, and none of my friends like it, so I'm just gonna put this out in the ether and see what happens. And then that build into, you know, starting to meet people and starting to do stuff. And then I was like, wait a minute, my name's like Track World News, so people gonna look at me as a news outlet.
Right.
And so now it's like, oh, I kind of have to, because people will retweet my stuff now and be like, yo, well, Track World News said this, so that means it's real. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just some random dude. Like, wait a minute. Hold on. Some people like take my stuff like legit, like, yo, this is gospel. This is what Track World News said. I'm like, yo, it ain't like, but so like I've realized like, okay, I've got to, before I post something, I got to realize, okay, this is still a brand. Like, and people, like, while I may not see, like, oh, I'm a journalist, people see myself as a news outlet more, per se.
Yeah.
And so, like, I got to be careful with what I do, because it's like, you know, people will see this, see the name, and be like, oh, so this is real. So I can't just be going out saying anything, because it's like, people will take it as, no, this is a real thing because of, you know, the branding of it, you know?
No, yeah, that definitely is interesting. Like, for sure. I think even just because we'll go as like running report at times, and like I'd be like, I feel like I'm more of like a commentator in a way of things, and like I would say best way is I can't say an analyst, but I would say like I'm thinking about it more like a commentator, just like of track and field and running culture. Would you call yourself a journalist, Anderson?
I don't know. I'd say more maybe commentator side. But I will say, so in addition to the stuff I'm doing for my own, I'm also doing some freelance stuff for like covering Nigerian and African athletes. And that one, that's like, okay, I have a quote unquote assignment to get certain pieces of content. In that aspect, I've been, I guess it's journalist. But I'm lucky in that situation, I have a little more leeway.
Yeah.
But for my general content, I mean, I can't. This really confirmed that I can't be like a journalist, like the hard aspect of a journalist. Like, it's just too uncomfortable to be like, I must get this content or else. Like, I just can't do that. I want to make sure that for me, the athletes feel comfortable, and then B, okay, after that, you know, we can determine if I can get the content and things like that. Like, so yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a journalist. I would say like more on the commentary, just like, you know, commentating the sport. That's what I'd say. So,
and then T, you're definitely a journalist.
I don't know what I am. No, it depends on the day though. I feel like it depends on the day.
Like what you are?
Yeah, cause like Nike, I be hosting the indoors and outdoors. That's nothing to do with journalism. You know what I'm saying? When I do like my podcast, I feel like that's more of a journalist aspect. But here, I just feel like I'm just
living.
Content. I don't know. I'm just recording. I'm a
machine.
camera girl.
Content
machine. Yeah, I guess.
And one of the questions, Aaron's not here, he's sick and everything, but he wanted me to ask you guys, I guess comparing to like last year, because we're talking about a brand, being journalists and everything, comparing to last year, like 2021 Tokyo Olympics going around, where your brand was specifically at, and now comparing to the World Championships, where do you feel like your brand, as Track World News, that's Real Talk, Track and Field Black History, and the final leg, like where do you feel like you have moved since then, and then kind of a little bit, where do you want to improve or move on from now? Like, what do you feel like has been that big change since that last year, since the last major championship?
Yeah, it's been crazy, just the explosion that I've seen with all of our accounts. And I'd say where I'm leaning more towards is slightly different than what y'all are doing, where we're getting more, trying to do more individual stuff and capturing individual stories. I've really enjoyed, you know, kind of the news aspect of things, of like, hey, I'm trying to like, hey, how can I break news? Like, so I've been reaching out to athletes, trying to build a relationship. So like, hey, if you got something big coming around, like, let me know, because, you know, I'd love to break that news for you. And so I'm trying to figure out ways to do that, because like I enjoy doing that. I'm starting to expand. I'm trying to, you know, hopefully, you know, expand the team a little bit. We got a website in the works. We want to be able to have some written stuff, you know, some written newsletters. So I've realized that's kind of where I want to go to. And then eventually I want to help the business of track and field. Like, I think that there's so many ways we can make more money. And I hear a lot of people talk about it. I have experience in the business side of sports. So I'd like to be a part of that, you know, on the track side. But for now, I'd say, yeah, going up to this next cycle, it's okay. I want to be on the news side of things, like break that stuff, break the coverage.
You should make a modern newspaper, like not like old, like with all the words and stuff, but just like a modern version. I love that for you though. I love that you going around with it.
Appreciate it.
That.
I mean, like something I've definitely taken some type of inspiration from is New Gen. Like, I mean, the New Gen, like what they're doing is awesome. I'm not like a distance running person, but I mean, shoot, you see they got TT on there, and she's not distance. Yeah. It's like I'm really liking what they're doing. Like, so that's something else. I'm not afraid to just admit where I watch stuff. Like, I'm like, hey, I don't just make my own things. Like, I have other outlets that I look at, whether that's Sidious Mag that I'm sure we all have connected with at some point. And so it's like that's what I've been trying to do. Is like, hey, how can I modernize track and field the way that regular people get it? Because like I'm not a regular track and field fan. The regular fan runs track in high school, college, and then checks on Instagram. Okay, what's the important thing? And then they leave. I think about it all day, every day, but most people don't. So I'm like, how can I make that easier for everyone else?
Well, I have a question for you, Colin. Just how do you keep on? You post every day. Like, how do you keep that momentum?
You have another job.
Yeah, so I work another job in sports, and so especially luckily it's like inverse because I work in professional hockey, and so I have to go to every single game there till like 11 p.m. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it when the season comes around. We'll figure that out. But I have I schedule my posts, so I know what I'm doing, and then I can make it the night before and then have it just scheduled for the next day or scheduled for the next week. And so that's kind of like what I've been doing. But it's like I know what content I post what days, and I don't waver from that too often. And if I don't have that thing ready, then I just don't do anything. It's like, and most of the time I have it every day, but that's what I'll do. Like, I'm like, okay, I post records and this, and then I have like my content that I post on each day, but it's a lot. I don't go to bed before midnight ever. There's not been one day since I started this that I've gone to bed before 12 p.m.
Wow. Do you have like OCD? Like, have you always like for real? Have you always been super organized like that?
No. So the thing is, I'm not very organized either. It's like a madhouse. So my thing is, like, when I put my mind that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So there's been 3 things in my life that I've dedicated all of my time to because I wanted to. First was I was going to be a Division I athlete. I told myself when I was like 9 years old, like, I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm figuring it out. And so that was the first thing. Second thing, in my job, like I said, I was going to be the number 1 seller in my company, at that time, or in my division. And I was like, because I'm like, I'm going to do everything. I'll be up till midnight to do it. And the third thing is like, I'm going to be the fastest growing track, thing, right now. And so that's what I've been doing. And so it's like, I look at other accounts and I'm like, I'm better than you. Nice. Like, and so I'm going to, it's like, so I got to do more than you because I know I'm better than you. And so it's like, I use that like as a thing, or like whenever if I get accepted, if I don't do this, if I do, whatever I'm doing, it's like, I'm like, how can I gamify it? Cause like, as like we're all athletes. So I just take it to another degree. And so it's like, I'm okay with sacrificing, my nights. Cause I'm like, I want to be number 1. I'm like, I want to get to 10,000. Like, I'm at 8,000 followers right now. I'm trying to get that next 2K. It's like, so what do I got to do to get there? And so it's like, that's kind of how I treat it. And so, yeah, I'm tired a lot.
I understand, bro. It can be stressful, bro. It can be stressful. But like what you were saying, like, I'm blessed to be stressed. You know what I mean? Like, stress comes with the blessing, bro. Like, man, pressure is a blessing for sure. It definitely is. And then wait, what was I talking about before? I forgot. I got lost. What was the first?
No, we were talking about where do you see your thing going to this next cycle?
Let's go with T, then we'll go to Anderson. Like, compared to last year, the Olympics, what you were doing last year during the Olympic time to now, like how that transition has been. Man, you've done a lot, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You've done a lot. So how do you feel like that change has been since that past year? And then kind of where do you want to move forward in a little bit,
So last year at the Olympics, I was at home watching it from Ray's Take Live, like with everybody else.
You were in the trap house.
In the trap house. I was in the trap house, but I don't even know, like.
Where'd you feel like the brand was last year?
I mean,
or just you in general. Where'd you feel like you were last year?
Trying to get somewhere, trying to get to this. Feel me? Just trying to come up. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
is it everything you thought it was?
For sure. Like, I've probably got like 4,000 followers this meet so far. You feel me? I'm on the road to 10K too. This meet, bro. This meet.
It's wild.
She's
like wild. This meet.
Your account motivated me. I was like, damn. She going, I gotta start getting on my ish. She gonna catch me. I'm like, nah. That was part of it. I was like, nah.
But no, like, I mean, I'm just in awe. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't even the opportunities that just have come to my doorstep, like, are unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so to the point to where I'm like, guys, I don't want to talk about no business until after I'm done with my vacation, like my birthday. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. I can't even tell you where I see myself, to be honest, because I didn't see myself here. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, like, I don't like to put a limit on myself and just be like, oh, like, but I do want to, like, I don't want to be in the mix zone anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to, I was on live today, and one of my people was like, I don't know, it just came out of nowhere. I was just like, you know what? I would have a tent on the track that just says, like, Real Talk tent. And I was like, people just stop by if you want. Stop by if you want to get some content. You can stop by on your way out the track, like, something like that. But, like, that's just something I thought of real quick. But I don't know, bro. Like, this just, sorry. Oops. But it's just, like, shocking me. Like, I literally don't even know how to put it in words because, like, 4,000 people. Like,
it's crazy.
9 days, 10 days.
That's
and, like,
wild.
that's not even, like, you know, the aftermath is always bigger than what you do during. So it's just, like, I don't know.
I feel you on that though. I don't want to be in the mix zone too long.
Nah, bro.
Like, or at least like, I was thinking too, because I feel like what the people do in the broadcast, like, that's definitely like big time. I'm pretty sure they pay for those services too. But I'm on like, how many people are really seeing that stuff? You know what I mean? And like, not even just talking about like what we do, but like the other ones like Flow Track, Let's Run, Sidious, like all these other, like, I feel like a lot of people are seeing their stuff, and I'm all like, we need to be moved up. We need to be moved up. I know we just like web, but like, nah, this is big.
Yeah.
Like the web,
just web.
Yeah, exactly.
The people that are like taking in the content go to these webs. Like, bro, I don't go. I am a person that creates content for track and field. I do not go to NBC, ESPN to get my track news. I go to Sidious Mag, Real Talk, Running Report, Final Leg. That's where I go to consume my track content. I go to the web because these are the people that are in the stories. Like, where can I go to get a Sha'Carri Richardson interview after the USA Championships? Am I going to get with ESPN? No. I go to Real Talk because she's the one that gets that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
But I always say, for me, NBC, you can hire me and we can start doing that.
Yeah, but if you start hiring me, then I'll figure it out. Then we'll figure
make that happen, and they can go to NBC if
That's
you
what you
hire
want.
me, and
That's
like,
what you want.
we can make that NBC track and field page popping. You know, like, we can have that page, we can make it popping. You know, but you gotta hire me first. You feel me? Like, we can make that happen. But no, completely, like, we need to be moved up. It's definitely if we just gonna be in the mix zone. But for me, like, I eventually want to be like in the broadcast. I want to be up there, something like that. Like, I want to be more part of the meet. And I feel like me and Aaron are definitely like more and more part of the meet. Like, we have like a event, we had a podcast out here, which is dope. Like, it was cool. I think it could definitely be bigger. I want to be better, but you always look at something, you want to be bigger and better. But it's all like, I don't want to be in the mix zone too long either. But I understand too, though. It's the trenches though. Like, you gotta pay your dues.
You gotta start somewhere. What John say? Pay your dues. We paying our dues. But like, cause like, you can't even feel the energy in the mix zone. Like, it's dead in there. It's draining. Like,
they don't got the sound on.
You
bro.
can't even hear the
exactly.
meat.
You cannot hear the meat. It's
You can't even hear them.
No.
Yeah, I'm glad I was watching, man.
Even the first day, the TV wasn't even like working properly. Like, we couldn't even
For
watch
real,
the meat.
for real.
Like,
Like,
crazy.
seriously, the TV wasn't even working.
The ghetto.
It's a ghetto. That's all. Like, you feel me? We gonna have to get our way up in that Tribune, bro. Like, that little after track vibe, because you can still feel the energy of the fans. Like, you'll feel everything in that mix zone. It's just like,
it's crazy. I was talking with a couple people about ways to even like reform the mix zone or something, because like the mix zone is really, it's not good. It's not.
Could
good.
you explain it for maybe people that don't know, like, what the mix?
So like the athletes, like, they'll finish their race, right, and they'll come immediately off the track. They'll go to like the broadcast media. That's like they're walking up the stairs. So you'll see like NBC, right? They'll do
Louis
interviews with
Johnson,
like Louis Johnson, exactly. That's like right off the track. And then there's a couple others like BBC or whoever else.
Yeah.
They have to walk up like a long kind of snake thing, like up the stairs on the track. And then they finally go through, I guess, like a tunnel or something where they go downstairs. And then there's another kind of snake situation, and they're walking through. There's like one side that's another level of broadcast media, right? And then they come through. They have to walk and talk to
written
press. And then they finally get to us, who are like recording content, doing like internet content. So by that time, like, they've already done their race. They put all their heart and their energy onto the track. Now they have to do like basically another marathon just to get to us to have a conversation about the stuff. So it's very taxing on the athletes, right? And then for us, being able to, we want to be able to highlight the athletes in a positive way. but they're coming to the end. It's like it's tough for us as well. So I don't know. I've been talking to a couple people, you know, in this past week just about ways to like reform the mix zone.
Yeah.
No like solid ideas yet, but the idea is that this just isn't working properly. I don't think, at least, you know.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be talked about, and especially I think the position of like the social media and like the web publication, like that's a much bigger deal than where we are. I feel like personally, and I'll say that to anybody, you know what I mean?
I do want to say, like, after this whole Shericka conversation, I had a conversation with a lady who was in charge. Didn't like what she said. She was like, so I get, like, what did they ask? I'm just like, I didn't even know at the point, but she was like, so the thing is, we can't control what journalists say. That's the problem. Cause like that ruined my opportunity to get good content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, luckily one of the other girls was cool to let me, like, you feel me, go through the back. But like, she's like, yeah, we just can't really control what journalists say. And it's like, so you don't care about protecting the athletes?
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That should be number one. The athletes, like protecting the athletes, is the most important thing, in my opinion. Like, you know.
I feel that. But then for you, Anderson, as well, compared to the Olympics last year, what you were doing to now being at the World Championships, did you imagine being in the mixed zone World Championships with your brand where it was last year, and just where do you feel like you're moving forward from here?
No, I mean, a lot of progress. I mean, so first off, I only started in Instagram. I've been doing YouTube for a while, but I only started Instagram like less than a month ago. So I did it just for the World Championships coming up. But I mean, I'm not on T's level. In the past like week, I've got like 1,000+ subscribers on YouTube, at least, just with the content, which has been amazing. But so yeah, just continuing to grow and mainly continuing to highlight a lot of the athletes who, you know, don't get as much recognition. I want to be able to, you know, highlight them, tell their stories, and be able to, you know, give them some recognition. And then of course on the track and field Black history side, I mean, I couldn't even fathom, like last year I was like just doing basic posts like about, you know, athletes from history, but now this year I've been doing some crazy interviews. Like, shout out to so many people. I like the morning of on Friday morning, I spoke to Quincy Watts, like Michael Norman's coach, like the morning before Norman ran, and then later on, after Norman won, he was like, yo, thank you so much for talking. Like, it eased my nerves, you know, thinking about that, right? So just being able to grow that and being able to tell the stories from athletes and coaches and things like that who competed in the past. I have a lot of plans with that. I have an educational background, so I'm trying to build like a little educational platform, but we'll see down the line what happens. But yeah, so
I love to hear it. I think we'll wrap this up like in a sec right now, because we got the last day of World Championships to worry about.
Yeah, we all went through it now.
What
y'all doing? We're getting away with it.
Is it a secret?
Yeah, like it's only one black runner here, bro.
So what do you see then? What we can get?
Yeah.
I think compared to last year, watching the Olympics on Peacock, waking up 2 a.m. to see everything in Tokyo, I did not think, like, I thought I would be at World Championships, but I was like, bro, I don't know, man. Like, it just seems so far out, unrealistic, but like to actually be here and experience it, like, it's been cool. It's been amazing, like, honestly, and like to be able to get the things that we want to get. I feel like we could have definitely done more, but I just feel like the brand going forward, I think we're gonna lean more into just two black runners. I think that is our brand, and like I think being that type of, I don't even know if we're gonna be like influencers, but like,
yeah, you want to be influenced. Nah, you don't say that unless that's what you want to say.
But I think we're gonna be like commentators and like influencers on like running culture in general, and I think that's the direction that we're going. And we're going into this year, I was like, I want to do way more video, and like looking at what we posted on Running Report and on Two Black Runners, it's been mostly video, which I've been very proud of being able to keep up with that. But I definitely just want to, going forward, I think it's really just all about like repositioning and rebranding ourselves as just like, all right, we're Two Black Runners. Running Report is going to be like our show and everything, but not like we're Two Black Runners. Like, I think, let's take off this hat, bro. Like, you know, it's just like, but Running Report is still the thing. Like, that's what got me. But I think that's what's going to be the change that people are definitely going to see going into this fall, especially because there's going to be no track. We're going to be definitely talking about a lot of just like the culture of like running and everything, and then talking about like cross country, but like still doing the running report stuff because I love doing that ESPN like style like aspect, and I think that's very, very important and essential to like changing the sport. And like we need that on like we don't need it on TV, but like we just need it to be on a bigger platform. And I think the more we do it, it's more reps and more people will see it. Hopefully, I don't know, but I think going forward, just leaning more into the personalities and two black runners and trying to push that forward as much as we can. And I think over the past year, we have done so many different things, from just like funny YouTube videos, like me racing people, or Aaron asking people, do you love track and field, to like doing podcasts, having fans come up, to doing interviews on track side. Like we've done so many things. So I mean, people are starting to see of all the stuff that we can really do. And it's been fun. So I think it's bright looking forward, but I'm getting motivated by you, bro. Like and all y'all, bro. I'm all like, dang, we need to go harder on this Instagram, bro. We need to go even harder to make sure that I'm trying to get to 10K, bro. We got 10K on YouTube.
Man, I'm trying to get
10K challenge, bro.
10K challenge.
Track is 10K challenge.
Who's gonna get it?
You said like you might TV, whatever. Like I feel like Instagram, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's to me that's TV. Like I don't watch TV. I watch Instagram. I go on YouTube, right? That to me that's what people are consuming. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think there's an area to grow into where it's like, hey, this is like a network of whatever it might be, of like, hey, we're gonna have these different, it's the T's Real Talk, running report, whatever it might be, like having like different kind of aspects of things, having a better production. I know Pat McAfee show on YouTube. It's a YouTube show, and it's an ESPN level of production on YouTube. So it's like you don't have to get like a network spot here. You can just do it whenever you want. So it's like if we're talking long term, like, hey, what would I love to see in track and field? Whether it's me, like, of course, you'd love it to be yourself, but if it's not me, at least somebody, like that level of production where it's like, hey, we have a show that happens like every day from 3 to 7, multiple people, and we just talk track and field. Like that's what I would love to see from a content creation. Love for it to be me, but I think it can happen soon.
That I think that is the answer. Like that is the answer, but not just having that being it is not just one platform, like not just one person doing it, but having several different people doing that, having shows. And it's not like it's just 2, like you said, like 7 people, because like it's track and field is diverse. You need somebody that's gonna be able just to talk the 4, 2, and the 1. You need somebody to be able to just talk hurdles, just toss disc and shot. Like you need those specific people like that is track and field. That is a track and field show. And yeah, I'm definitely shooting for that, bro. Like, do something like that, but it's gonna take some time. But you feel me? Like, I got a whole lot of time. I'm 22 years old. You feel me? So,
okay.
Chilling.
Little bro.
Young boys.
Hey, just to let y'all know, you do not have to be a professional athlete to be in media, bro.
You don't even have to be good.
That's not even a thing. That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
That's the last thing. Listen, in a few words for each of you, what advice would you have for somebody like stepping in, trying to go into a podcast, do some interviews, trying to get in track and field media? What would be, in a little less words, not like too many words, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, I'd say do it and stick with it, because I was at, like, this time last year, I was at 500 followers and I had done it for a year and a half. This year I'm at 8,100. And so it's like, stick with it, because I was going through grinding of having nobody looking at my stuff. Like the big athletes, I'm DMing athletes, it's going on red, getting leave on scene, and it was demoralizing. But then like I was like, let me stick with it. And then now it's like, people reach out and say, hey, can I do stuff with you? And so it's like, stick with, like, do it and then stick with it, because it's gonna suck for a while. Forever. It's gonna be tough, but then you're gonna break through and it's gonna be like, I'm glad I did it. So
do it. And do it with everything you got. Like, give it your all. You feel me? Just like Colin, I had DMs being left on red. I used to DM people all the time. Don't even get red. They don't even get red, to be honest. And like, left on scent. Like, you feel me? And like now, those same athletes are following me now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So do it, stick with it, and just stay consistent and put God first.
Anderson?
Just be confident. Like, be confident. You're same situation, being left on red, whatever, but like now I'm talking to these athletes that I've looked up to or that I'm following day after day, right? But be confident, right? I have questions I want to ask them. I have like things I want to be able to say to them, and I'm coming in confident. Like, all right, let me make sure I can like talk to them and tell their story or whatever it is. So just be confident.
For me, network and connect with people, like from the athletes and just like anybody in media. You never know. Network, like connect, opportunities come around, like go for that. Definitely if you're just starting out. And then the other one is, dang bro, I kept on forgetting what it was. What is it? There's never too much content, low key, bro. Like there really isn't. Like somebody didn't just hear that. That's the thing. Like a world record just broke or something, and you're all like, dang, I just seen Track World News and Insidious post this. I'm not gonna post it. Bro, somebody did not see that. Like your perspective is not out there, so it's never gonna get told if it's not out there. You have to put it out, and you never know. Your perspective may be the most interesting perspective someone has ever seen. And if that's able to connect in someone and hit somebody's home, like you should be proud of that. So like, bro, like there's never too much content out there, bro. Like
there's almost 100 billion quadrillion people in this world, bro. 10 a million people want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
So many people in this world.
There's so many people that follow. I guarantee you there's a ton of people that only follow my account that don't follow you, only follow yours that don't only follow you that don't follow anyone else. So just because you saw it on Instagram and you follow all 10 accounts, most people, they follow one and that's it. There are a ton of followers that's like, okay, I follow the final leg. That's it. I don't follow nobody else in track and field. I follow Real Talk. I follow Running Report 2. That's it. There's tons of people. And so just because you saw it, because we follow everybody, don't mean that, you know, it's going to be brand new. You can post it 2 days later. They're like, wait, Cindy McLaughlin broke the world. It's like, yes. People just finding out today that she did it. So it's like, it's never too late.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely. But I appreciate y'all coming through. I didn't expect it to be this long, but you know, man, we got to start talking, bro. We got to start talking. But I appreciate y'all. Aaron, get well soon. You feel me? Hey,
we miss you, Aaron. Free my boy, Aaron.
Free Aaron. Free Aaron. Backwards, man.
But hey, we'll see y'all next week on Two Black Runners. We're just two black runners doing our thing. Two Black Tuesday, all that. Let's get it.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.